And we begin with this. The Justice Department is rapidly intensifying their investigation of this fella, Governor Tim Walz, and his fellow Minnesota Democrats for allegedly obstructing federal immigration efforts in their state, and they're now taking it to an entirely new level. I've been telling you about this. I knew this would happen. Federal prosecutors have just served a number of legally binding grand jury subpoenas to Walz and his cronies, ordering them all to hand over important records which are vital to the government's case against them. No, Editor Pranov, not Lawrence Welk records. Different records altogether. Get rid of that. The requested documents reportedly include all records and communications which have been issued this year concerning federal immigration enforcement in Minnesota, including any directives issued to state residents regarding their interactions with ICE agents. According to reports, the subpoenaed records potentially reveal proof of an actual conspiracy regarding coordinated efforts by the governor, the mayor of Minneapolis, and a bunch of other state Democrats, all to impede federal law enforcement operations throughout the entire Twin Cities area. Additionally, the feds are reportedly looking into charges against Walz and the others, which are similar to the ones used to prosecute some of the people who stormed the U.S. Capitol January 6, 2021. We all remember that day. For his part, an indignant Walz says that he has indeed received the subpoena, that his state will not be dragged into what he calls political theater, and that the investigation has nothing at all to do with justice and everything to do with creating a partisan distraction. He also says that fed-up Minnesotans are more concerned with safety and peace than they are with a bunch of baseless legal tactics, which are aimed directly at public servants who are standing shoulder to shoulder with their community. So, the other offices which receive subpoenas include those of Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, State Attorney General Keith Ellison, and more. And Frey says there's reason to be concerned. He claims that when the federal government weaponizes its power to try and intimidate local leaders who are simply doing their jobs, every American should be worried. I'm worried that this guy's still the mayor. Attorney General Ellison is chiming in as well. He claims that rather than investigate the tragic killing of activist Renee Good, President Trump is instead weaponizing the justice system against any leader who dares to stand up to him. In the meantime, it remains to be seen whether or not the Justice Department will eventually unearth enough substantial evidence to secure any indictments in the case. Final thoughts, and this is the News Roundup Lowdown. And here's the way it all pans out. When people in positions of power think they're the brightest bananas in the bunch, there's always somebody standing by who's just this much brighter. And that's bad news for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and a bunch of his pals. On the other hand, these subpoenas, if you think about it, kind of a gift in disguise for Minnesota leadership. And more on that in just a bit. Now, unfortunately, it's not the weekend, so we can't call this a subpoena Saturday, but we'll take what we can get. Now, just open your eyes a little bit. Look around. In my view, everyone in Minnesota, the governor, the little French fella, Mayor Frey, disgraced congressperson Ilhan Omar. That was an honest mistake. And others, they've tried to hamper the efforts of ICE agents in their mission, which is to find, detain, and deport illegal immigrants. They've called federal agents an occupying force and lawless. They can clearly see a number of ICE agents right now being targeted, protests in the streets, a church being invaded over the weekend. You saw the video. People have been seriously injured, and in fact, one person has already been killed. Have Walz and his comrades obstructed or impeded law enforcement? Come on, do the basic math, and the answer is going to come to you real quick. You won't even need one of those decades-old solar-powered calculators that Radio Shack used to give away for free. And one last note, these subpoenas, they're a gift to the governor and others because now the narrative has changed from billions of dollars worth of fraud and corruption, which right now I'm not talking about. They've changed that to simple obstruction. Well played, Governor Walz. Maybe he is the brightest one in the room. He's kind of wagging the dog.